grew up in Connecticut. Spent my life there until I graduated college at the University of Connecticut. And then after that, I came down to South Florida right after college.
Did you play high school athletics, or were you involved in?
Yeah, I played in Little League, then Babe Ruth League, and then right after in college, I played a little bit further. But yeah, I mean, so I was always into baseball. That was my main sport. I was too short for basketball or football, so baseball was my favorite sport. Yeah.
And as you were starting to kind of come out to yourself, did that have any impact on your participation in athletics?
Yeah, I mean, I came out, I knew I was gay pretty young, like 13, 14. So yeah, I mean, it obviously plays a role, but you're involved athletically with all these other guys, and so I mean, yeah, I mean, it's kind of because you know how you are, and you know how you feel, and you've got people around you who you interact with a lot, and may start to become attracted to, so I think it's a much different experience than for some others that maybe came out later, but me knowing that, kind of had to deal with that at the same time as being teammates and playing.
Did you share with your teammates?
No, not in the athletic area. I mean, in other ways with some friends, but no, not in that. I kept it, and of course that adds another pressure, right? So you've got to keep it in and not be honest with who you are. I had a boyfriend, quote unquote, for a couple of years in high school. So, I mean, luckily I had that interchange, but no, we never really were out or anything like that. So it was always, something I kept secret. It was kind of like, I knew I was gay, but I knew I would just compartmentalize it, and I would have some things that I would, I could be open with, like my boyfriend, but not not in other ways, right?
So what brought you to Florida?
Yeah, actually, it's interesting. I was at University of Connecticut. I ran and was the editor of the student newspaper there. We had a daily paper there, and I loved that experience. And I was coming out, and then I had a close friend at the paper. She was kind of like the bookkeeper, but she was an older woman. But she saw advertise. She was looking for me for like things to kind of help find me a job after college, and she had found this ad about a gay newspaper in Miami looking for an editor, and so I kind of gravitated toward that, looked into it. It was the Weekly News, which is one of the first newspaper, or the first gay newspaper in South Florida. Long history, and so I came down, I interviewed, and I mean, within, right after graduation, within 3 weeks, I was down here in Miami, no family, no anything, just they put me up in a hotel in Miami Beach. I eventually found a place in Miami Gardens to stay, and that was how I came down here, and in summer of '94. You hear about gay communities, and it's like San Francisco, New York, you hear Chicago, these big communities. But Miami, South Florida, you aggregate everybody together, it's like the 4th or 5th largest gay community in the country. And it really, it really struck me at the scope of it. And it was really a great place for me to come. So yeah, certainly the community was here. And then as I got into the topics of the politics and the community and where we were, it was that period, kind of like AIDS we were starting to find, medications. Magic Johnson came, said he had AIDS probably in like early 92 or so. And so he's alive now, so you could tell the medication was starting to come. But yeah, it was an interesting period from that transition from the AIDS period to one of really, a re-liberation of the community, because now they're starting to feel freer again as AIDS a bit more under control. And then, of course, all the movement towards what eventually would be, gay civil rights and marriage rights and gays in the military, and all these sort of things just started to come, right at one after the other. So this period here in South Florida was really interesting, and I was impressed at the community and how well it was really bonding together and really becoming political. I think at that point, even more so than I would research like in the past. It was really a large scale effort.
What was sports coverage like?
No, I mean, not much. I mean, we would tap into where there were sports, activities going on, but not, it wasn't it wasn't certainly on a section, like you can certainly do these days. But no, it was, I mean, when that came out, and when these stories would come about, athletic groups, I kind of really grasped onto those because of my past. And then once, Jim Stork hit me up about Hurricane Showdown, and not long after I got there in '94. I mean, because
how did you meet Jim?
He reached out. Jim's he's a great marketer. He reaches out, gets publicity, and he reached out, and that's how I found out about what he was doing. And boy, I mean, I was excited at that point because, again, it's like, here's a whole part of my life which I love, and even right before I came to South Florida, I was playing ball a bit, and I was like, I'm going to grab onto this. And we had a great conversation. He told me what he was doing, and I think he saw my interest, and then he asked me if I would help with the league and with the showdown and these sort of things. And I was glad because, I mean, one, I wanted to play. That's one. But in things that I've done in my life, I've always enjoyed the administrative, the leadership role in it. Kind of like the newspaper. I joined the newspaper and then I became the editor, right? So I look at these as opportunities to lead, but more so to make change and to really, make things, really, really important to people and valuable. And so I immediately grabbed onto that opportunity. Jim saw that, and I think we had a good partnership in terms of helping to build. And I was willing to do the back end work, the administrative stuff, which is not as exciting for others. Probably the best example was the one that's more vivid for me, I should say, was the showdown, the Hurricane Showdown. It's a tournament where other teams would come in, and so the first one was in '95, and Jim spearheaded it, and then in '96 he asked me if I would lead it, and it was a great opportunity because I saw that, Fort Lauderdale, Thanksgiving weekend, it'd be a great draw for these teams. And through Jim's contacts, we really had an outreach to all throughout the nation. I think we had like 40 teams that came, and it was it was amazing to see how much potential there was. And then with that number of people, the community really saw how it was growing, and we got great numbers at the showdown. And it just, and that kind of went into the league as well. It's all about momentum, right? You start with 6, but then you get people, and because the community is close-knit, then people would come, they would see the games, then they'd be like, hey, I want to play. And then you go from 6 to 10 to 12. But then you need the sponsorship to help the league, and that's where George Kessinger came in as a great benefactor of the league. So that's what a lot of those early days. Oh God, I think it was. Stud, right? This was before Georgie's Alibi, so Stud. David Magazine, I believe, was in there. Scoop, Tropics, Chardees had a team. All the known names, right? And this was a real environment. And people could come on Sundays, they could get a beer, and they could drink, and they can have fun. And that was as much of a success factor of the league as the fans that came to see us, in addition to the team itself. So it really was a lot of momentum, and I think it was at the right time because, again, we're going from one period of history to another where people wanted to be more out and find other ways to connect. So I think that was the key to it, was just keeping that momentum going. Well, I did have a model in the sense that a close friend of mine, he's passed now, Chuck Dima. He ran the league in New York, was one of the founders. He owned a bar in New York. Yeah, I mean, he was married to a woman for many years, had kids, and then eventually he came down to South Florida. But I met him early on here, and yeah, I mean, he really helped to kind of focus in on what was needed to be successful. And so it was a great mentorship, and really he kind of stepped back and guided me and helped me kind of run with some ideas, but always there as a guiding light in terms of where to go. But honestly, without Chuck Dima to support all of us in the beginning, I think it would have been a tougher road, because he had the roadmap. He knew you needed to get the bars involved. You needed to this is how you recruited people. This is how you got people interested. And like South Florida, New York was a close-knit community. People could come to the games, and it was a great, so yeah, that was kind of the roadmap that I would say is his guidance.
And how long did you stay involved?
Through 2001, yeah. In 2001, I got transferred up to the DC area. So, and then I played, about 10 years up, or 8 years up in that league. Yeah, the DC league is. I mean, it's a really good league, very competitive, just like here. It's just it's DC, Maryland, and Virginia, so it's spread out. Whereas here, the concentration, so you felt that more, because there'd be less likely for people to go to the bar right afterwards, or for a lot of fans, I think, to come and see our games, because you just had to drive so far and the traffic is awful.
How about getting younger people like?
Yeah, I think that was, I didn't see it as a challenge. We had a lot of younger people play. I remember, I was in my 20s at the time. We had Chuck Dimo 70 pitched for us. And that was always I think it's so important to have across the generations, to have a place where you can exchange and you can have something in common. And I think less and less these days we have that opportunity. We get into our silos with social media but then you had 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, all the way up to 70 playing together, and I think that also helps build the community as well. But it's just good for this intergenerational exchange, and especially for younger people like myself to have learned from someone like Chuck, or someone who lived through a different era, and I was particularly attuned to the history and the social importance of this. So to hear the stories of someone like him who was married and then had to come out, and all the challenges he faced, or his first partner, I think, died of AIDS, so all of that history you can only learn if you get out of your own age silo, and the league certainly allowed us to do that. So yeah, we had younger people, we had older people, and that was I think a real strength of the league as well.